What's up, Riverdalians? Welcome back to the River's Edge. I'm Abby. I'm joined with my co-host Haley today, and we have a very, very special guest, very good friend of mine, Riverdale super fan, Carlos Santiago. Welcome, Carlos. Thanks for joining in today with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So, we just wanted to start this off by saying that I don't think there's many people that are as big of a Riverdale fan as you, and certainly not many people have met literally pretty much everybody from the cast. Like
Almost everybody. Almost.
almost everybody.
I'm still missing a few, but that is a continuous work in progress.
Yeah. So remind me again, who you missing? Because we could just it'll take
Oh
less time
man.
to say that than to say how many people you have met.
Mhm.
I will definitely not consider this journey over until I definitely met, Matt, Vanessa, Drew,
Mhm.
and some other ones that I definitely consider awesome characters.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love that so much. I mean, for starters, your poster. We got to
Mhm.
mention your poster, and it's incredible. I mean, for anybody that's seen a picture of it. We gotta get a picture of it to show our listeners. It's amazing. I
I'll
mean,
definitely send you a picture of it.
truly, it's incredible. I
It's
mean,
been like I said,
really,
it's definitely been a journey. I've traveled almost the entire US with it.
damn.
It's one of my most cherished possessions, I tell you that much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I mean, I'm so lucky I get to talk to you all the time about it and see the journey. And it's like just completely blows my mind. I mean, every time like I'll get a message from Carlos, it's like, "Abby, I'm going here. Abby, I'm going there. I'm getting so and so this weekend. I'm getting so and so this week." And just thank you for including me in that, by the way, because
Oh, of
it's
course.
totally amazing. And I just wanted to let everybody know. The first signature that you got on there was Luke Perry, right?
Luke Perry was the first person to ever sign my poster.
That's amazing.
And it was in
That's
Chicago. I believe it was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And I almost didn't make that trip. I said, you know what, if I don't get him this time, there will be another time.
yeah,
Unfortunately, 6 months later, there was no other time. So I am very lucky that I got to meet him, and he was
yeah.
just extremely wonderful. Very, very nice guy, I tell you that.
That's so great to hear because I didn't get the opportunity to meet Luke. Not many people really did,
Mhm.
and that's such a privilege. Such a just amazing. I'm
Yeah,
sure. Like
yeah, he was just such a great guy, and I'm really happy that he was one of the first ones I met. I mean, that message he says to Archie in the pilot just resonates with me, and I always remember that. That if you have to lie about something, then maybe it's not the right time. Be confident enough
yeah,
that you don't have to lie about something. And that just stuck with me forever. And look, Perry said it,
yeah,
and if you look at interviews online, even KJ Apa will still say that that scene at the porch was probably one of his most memorable scenes in Riverdale, and he was with Luke Perry.
of course. That's an incredible scene and an incredible guy, incredible character. I mean, when I talk to people who have had the pleasure of meeting him or even the pleasure of working with him, everybody has such amazing things to say. And I really that's so special. Not only that you met him, but that he was the first one to sign the poster.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It was definitely a highlight for me.
of
And
course.
I'm glad it started with him.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. And I did have a question for you. I think I know the answers, but
Go for it.
all right. So, who is your favorite character, your favorite season, and of course, we have to ask this question, your favorite ship?
My favorite. Oh, I'm gonna save that one for last. So, favorite character I've met. So throughout the time, throughout the run of the show, I definitely grew to enjoy and appreciate a lot of the characters, especially when I got to meet them in person. So
Hmm.
I know that outside had a lot of influence in that decision, and a lot of my favorite characters, I don't have just one. I have multiple. I've met Michelle Prada, and I think her most a lot. She's just such a great character. I met Asha Ashanti, and from the Josie and the Pussycats. So when I think of Melody, I that's a great character right there too. Um, one of my favorite characters will always have to be Reggie. Reggie, just
I figured
I
that.
yeah, Reggie is just, man, he was such a great character. And the reason why is because he evolved throughout the seasons, and him and Veronica did a lot of things that I don't think she would have been able to pull off if she didn't have Reggie side by side.
Huh. There's a hot take.
Yeah. I mean, they ran a casino together.
That's true.
He was the capo for the time being while Lodge was out of commission. Yeah. Just
Hmm.
so many awesome things that Reggie did. That's probably why, and I know this is a controversial one, but it's one of my favorite ships, Veggie. I feel like they were definitely a very power power couple. And
We don't agree, but we support you.
oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a fair answer and a fair reason for liking that ship. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, he was there for her at a time when she needed him. So
Correct.
I'll give them that. But favorite season. This is a big one in the fandom, especially these
Oh,
days.
favorite season. So I think one is perfect. I
Of
think that's
course.
something that we all can agree. I have the pilot almost memorized line by line. I think that was Riverdale at its truest form.
Mhm.
But if I had to say which one I like the most, I there's a special place for season 4. Season 3, that's when things just kicked it in high gear. That's when things
Yeah,
went, crazy. But you know what? Uh, there was something grounded about season 4 that I absolutely loved,
that's true.
and I
Absolutely.
I love Stonewall Prep. I love the whole mystery. Who did it? Who is here trying to you know blame Jughead for this, and who's trying to frame him. And I also did love the voyeur. The VHS
Oh
tapes.
yeah.
I thought that added some suspense to the season, and I wanted it to go a little bit further, but you know what? I'm pleased with what we got because it made sense. It
Yeah.
made sense. Did it feel a little bit rushed? Maybe, but we also know that we were entering a time,
Yeah.
Yeah, real life
in
Where it wasn't
circumstances.
planned out at all.
that
Yeah.
wasn't planned
They
out.
they did
So
what they could do. They
they did
came up
what
with
they
what
could
Yeah.
they
do,
could come up with.
Yeah.
and I
But
and I think
yeah.
it was a good ending to it, and I'm happy with
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, given the circumstances, I think they made do pretty well with all that,
Definitely.
because like with season 4 getting cut short and having to go into season 5, so
Correct.
Mhm.
yeah, I think they did pretty good
They
given the
did pretty good.
circumstances.
Yeah, and I'll take it. I'm very happy with it.
Okay. On to talking a little bit more about your poster and your travels throughout and meeting all of the cast members. I have 2 questions for you about that.
Yeah.
Number one, who has your favorite signature? Like the way that it looks. Whose signature do you like the best? And was there anybody who surprised you in the way that they acted and how?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I know the first one. So my favorite signature on there is definitely Michelle Prada's. The way she signed that cursive, that calligraphy, it's beautiful. It's very well written, and you can definitely see just how nice he came out. It was a very smooth signature, and it pops. And that I will say that her Hermosa Lodge was definitely one of the best ones that I have in my poster. For the reactions to them, and definitely Jughead. Definitely Cole Sprouse has been a big one. He is he was definitely impressed when he saw it. In fact, I went to a convention and it was in Chicago. That's where I actually met Abby for the first time.
That was a good
And
one. That
that
was
was a good
fun.
one. And I showed my poster to Skeet. And he was like, whoa, whoa. And he's like, have I signed this? And I'm like, oh yeah, you signed it a long time ago, many years ago, same place where Luke was. And he's like, where am I? Oh, I see it. I'm right here. And he takes it and walks up to Cole and he's like, have you seen this? And he's like, oh, dude, that's impressive. And that reaction meant a lot to me. That's also Shannon Doherty. So Shannon Doherty played she played a role in one of the episodes, especially in the memorial episode
Mhm.
where they gave Luke Perry the send off. She was the lady that he stopped by to help her, and when she saw his signature, when I showed her the photos and everything, he was, he went quiet. She grabbed my phone. She looked at the picture. She looked at my poster, and she's like, "This is beautiful." And that was probably one of
Wow.
the most, seeing her was heartfelt. Seeing her feel that way made me happy because, under the circumstances that she was in, it gave her some joy knowing that she was going through a hard time as well. And I didn't even know that, months later, we would be losing her as a person as well. So that to me I'm glad that I was able to to be able to be part of that poster, just as Luke Perry was.
Wow. That's incredible that you got to meet her. I mean, what a legend. Seriously.
And that's the thing, like, her part was so memorable, even if it was just one
Mm-hmm.
episode long.
Definitely.
So that's one of my most favorite ones. That's definitely one that takes the cake.
Okay. Why Riverdale? I mean, there's so many shows, there's so many movies, so many video games, anime, whatever you want to say, right? So many things. Why Riverdale for you?
Oh, I grew up with it. As a kid, I loved reading the comics. I didn't understand a lot of what the comics were saying. They were in English. My primary language, my first language is Spanish. So I would tell my mom to buy me the comics, and she would, because I was just drawn to the characters. I was drawn to the just how the colors were, and I just enjoyed them. I kept them for years and couldn't tell you what much of the storylines were at the time, but I still would, flip the pages over and over again, and I thought that was pretty cool. So when I found out that there was a show coming for the first time, after so many years from, not having any like shows with Riverdale, especially, going from Archie's, what is it, Weirdest Mysteries, that I would used to watch as a kid to, oh, live action Archie. I'm definitely watching this. And so when I found out that it was coming out, I was so excited. I couldn't wait. I could not wait. I, made sure I had that day off. When as soon as it came, 7 o'clock at night, I think it was, maybe 8, and you could hear that song, with Cheryl pulling up, and that's, July 4th. I was just completely taken. I was a fan from day one.
That's so awesome. I love that. Okay, so you've also met because you've met everybody, but that goes beyond just like, oh, the core four or
Hmm.
like, FP Jones, Hal Cooper. You've met like so many of the side characters, like
Yes.
characters that have only been in like one or two episodes. Do you have a favorite of those?
Oh man, let me think. I think one of my favorite ones was definitely one of my favorite ones was Chuck Clayton. Jordan Calloway was really happy to
Wow.
be, yeah, he was really excited to sign my poster. So funny story is that morning I had worked the day before. I went to the airport next morning, straight to Atlanta. I went to Dragon Con, and the first booth was Jordan Calloway, and we talked about Black Lightning because I'm a fan of superheroes. We talked about a couple of things, and he was in that Nickelodeon show too that my sister used to watch all the time as a kid. So we knew Jordan Calloway, and we were fans of him, and we liked his work. So when he was in Riverdale, I was like, okay, cool, we have another familiar face. I'll take it. So when I went to Dragon Con and he was the first stop, he was really excited, and I actually made it to his Instagram page saying, "Hey, come see me. I'm over here having a blast meeting fans." And he signed my poster. I'm very happy that he did because it was a very memorable experience. I think he was shocked because he didn't have very many people that went to see him just for Riverdale. I think he he was really big with Black Lightning at the time. So that, that caught him off guard. And I think that made the interaction a little bit better.
When you were talking, Carlos, about how you were just like taken right with the first episode, I really connected with that because the first time that I saw it, I became obsessed with it from the second that I saw it. And I was watching it during like when season two was coming out. So I didn't watch it from day one, but I thought it was so interesting because I used to say, people used to make fun of me in school because I was so obsessed with it. And I was in like fifth grade when season two was coming out. I'm a senior in high
Okay.
school now. And everybody used to make fun of me because I was so obsessed with it. And I used to say that I thought Riverdale had like subliminals in it, like in the TV, like in the particles of the screen that would
Hmm.
just like make you obsessed with it. For whatever reason, I was like, I swear to God that that is what's happening because why am I so obsessed with this? And
They're
nobody
sending
else seemed
brainwaves.
to be. It was like weird. So
Yeah.
I really connected with that when you said that. And I had another question. Who do you think was the most like their character? And when you were talking about the comics, what is your favorite comic series of Archie nowadays?
That's good.
That's a good one. So
That's a good
I
question.
definitely, I'm hoping that Roberto will one day finish, Afterlife. But
Hmm. Yeah.
that's a subject for another day. I will say that one of the ones that I am looking forward to, and I don't know if we're gonna see a proper ending to it. I would like to see Sabrina's storyline finish along with Riverdale's. I know we had a definite ending in season 6, but it left the door open for a lot more. And I think there's a lot of area there that we can still have time, we can still have playroom, we can still dissect because it still left a lot of characters, a lot of character arcs not fully fulfilled. Example, Heather. I love the character Heather. Heather is a fantastic character. She's a witch of Greendale. What happened? That's what I would like to know next. And I think those stories, there's still plenty of time to explore them
Hmm.
if taking that route.
That's so true. I try not to think about that because if I think about all the unfinished things, like, or stuff that I wish we got more of, I think I'd go a little crazy because there's so many things that I'm like, they should have done more with that, but there just simply wasn't enough time, or I don't know, like things shifted, things got changed, and I'm like, I
And I
wish we
love that
got
you
to
say
see
that.
more of that.
And I love that you say that. I wish there was more time because I know you know me, and you know that one of my
Yeah.
favorite quotes that Betty Cooper said in the final episode was that time. I wish there was more of it. And I think that truly reflects how I feel about Riverdale. It is it ended it ended, and I'll accept that. It wrapped up nicely. I thought that ending was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful and perfect. I wish there was more of it though. I wish there was
Of
more of it.
course. Yeah. Which brings me to my next question. If there was a season 8, like, you could even, if you wanted to, completely ignore season 7. Like, it could be a continuation of season 6 if you wanted it to be. What
Okay.
would you want from a season 8? Would you
From
do
a
it in the
season 8.
That's
50s?
Oh,
good. That's good.
I would leave Riverdale trapped in the 1950s, but everyone who's not in the town and it's outside of that time bubble would have to do their part to get the rest of the team, the rest of the cast, back to current time. We know,
Wow.
we
That's
know,
good.
correct.
Hmm.
We know that FP is in Toledo, right? We know Sweet
Yeah.
Pea left town with
Hmm.
Josie, right? So, yeah, maybe there's some paradoxes involved. There's some
Hmm.
time traveling involved, but there was still a world outside of that time bubble before the comet. And I think that that piece right there is crucial and a huge important piece if we were to write the next season. And
Yeah.
that will be the perfect opportunity to bring characters like Moose, to bring back Sweet Pea, to bring back
Ooh.
the rest of the Pussycats. Katie King, that
Yeah.
would be great.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
That's good. That's I've never thought of it like that. Like
Correct.
having the people that aren't trapped in the 50s have to help the others get out and get like back to their future.
Correct. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched WandaVision. That is a very similar time concept where everybody is trapped in this town. They think they're living their current lives, but they are in a fugue state, or more almost like they are in a dreamlike scape, like dreamscape, and everyone is there, yes, physically, but they're not there. And I think that would be a perfect opportunity to bring back season 8. And maybe
That's
we'll get
really
it one
good.
day. We just know KJ
I
is not.
hope so,
Yeah,
You
we
bro.
just
know.
I
know
hope
KJ is
so.
not dying. He's not dyeing his hair again. So
Yeah.
No, I mean, Archie could be like Jughead, wear a hat.
Yeah.
just wear a hat,
Yeah,
or
wear a hat.
or
I'll lend him mine.
or just have a room full of wigs. I
Or
mean,
yeah, they could
Oh
just make a
yeah.
really good wig, and
yeah,
they'd
I
probably
mean,
be able to pull it
I
off.
wouldn't leave it to them to make a good wig.
Well, no, but on
I-
my other show, Stranger Things, the bowl cut's a wig. Wig.
That, yeah,
really.
that looks
Yeah.
really real. But
I mean,
I
and
mean,
the
In
Blossoms
the
have a room full of wigs.
hmm
yeah, but I wouldn't leave it to them to make a. I mean, I know what they were doing in season 7 with Veronica's wig,
hmm
but oh my God. I mean, it just
Yeah.
doesn't really translate well to real life because,
No.
people always say, like, when you bring that up, and I think it's really bold to say it to me because I've read, like, I have almost 1,000 Archie comics. Like, if anybody knows that that's what her hair looked like in the comics, it would be me. But it doesn't translate well
No,
to real life.
it
And I
doesn't.
think if they needed to do her hair in, like, the older kind of style,
Hmm.
season 6, the 100th episode, when they're like in the Sweet Hereafter and they have, all of them in their old get
hmm
ups or whatever, I think they should have just did her hair like that
That
because
was a
that looked really good. I would imagine it was her real hair. I don't think that's a wig, but I mean, God, it's just so. Which,
that was a good
yeah,
segment. The Sweet
yeah,
Hereafter was a
which, yeah,
beautifully done.
yeah. Which
That
brings
was
me to my next. If you could change anything about Riverdale, like anything, big, small, do it different, do it over, not do it at all, what would it be? Whole show.
ooh, I think Riverdale covered everything. I mean, when you look at all the different types of genres out there, I think Riverdale did it all. So that's
That's
a
true.
if I could change something, I would definitely change the way the powers were portrayed in season 6. I mean,
That's
you had
good.
Vampironica. Why not
They
Yeah.
get
should have done that. They
why
should
should
have
have done that?
totally done
Why
that.
Jughead didn't turn into a werewolf in season 6?
Right.
Why didn't we have
Man.
zombies? We had Pure Heart right there available to us.
hmm
And Pure Heart was right next to Mad Dog, if I remember.
Yeah.
I know that's your
He
favorite. Yeah.
was. He was. That's my favorite.
Yeah. So we had it all there. We had it. Mm, it just didn't we didn't execute it. And I think
Yeah.
they could have done that. They could have done Archie and Pals and gone that route, and that would have been fantastic.
hmm
Everybody with their
Yeah.
super costumes, but
Yep.
you know, we decided to go with a milkshake-like power mixture.
Jesus. I mean, that's a whole episode of its
Yeah.
own, season
It
6. I
is.
think. I think we got
Yeah,
a
it
lot to
is.
say about that.
The
It is.
powers,
A lot to
bro.
say about that.
I
But
liked the idea of the invulnerability or whatever with Archie, and I liked the idea of the thing going on with Veronica. I liked the idea of that. I liked the idea of all of the powers. They were like
just executed
executed
poorly.
horribly. They were good in theory. The fact
In
that they
theory.
matched their storylines, they were good in theory, and that it like aided their own character development or whatever. And it was like the thing that you think of when you think of them. Like you think Archie's strong and he's physically like boom, boom, boom. Oh, he's invulnerable. Like
I
they
mean,
had the right idea.
Yeah.
after drinking that much Palladium soup, nothing
Yeah,
could
the
beat Archie.
palladium soup, bro. In chemistry, the
Palladium
first
soup.
day of chemistry, they were like, introduce yourself. This year, they were like, introduce yourself to your table and say whatever, all this stuff about yourself, and then say your favorite element. And you already know I had to say palladium,
Hey, I give you
That would
credit
have
for
been my
that one.
answer too.
my favorite
I never had to
element.
take chemistry.
My
That would
favorite
have been my
element.
answer.
Uh,
So, I wanted to bring up your poster again And you've traveled all over.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'll get like a message from you and you're like, I'm at the airport. I'm going here. I'm getting so and so today. So, what would you say was the craziest trip? Like the most random thing, like not at a con, like what was the most craziest or like the furthest that you've traveled?
Two people I can think of, and they were both in Los Angeles, California. Definitely Hermosa Lodge was one of them. That was completely unexpected. I was like, all right, I'm leaving Orlando this morning. It is like 6 o'clock here, so I will still arrive in California, 3 hours behind. So I still have time. I still be there. It'll still be there on before the event happened. And it was outside a con. I went to an event that she was sponsoring with her friend, and it was at a Mexican place. They were cooking. She was actually cooking. I had pictures of her cooking. They were introducing a new cooking book with recipes. It was like a beautiful set. And I went in and I introduced myself and I said, "Hey, I came to see you here. I would love, to for you to sign my book. And I also came to here to see Michelle." And she looked at me. She's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Yeah, I brought a poster and I would like for you to see." And she's like, "Perfect. We'll sit down and talk about it." And the interaction again was fantastic. And I was it was probably around like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I was flying back to Orlando in one day. So
Wow.
it was a crazy trip. The other one, same scenario. I flew in, flew out, flew back out the same day. I went to this film festival in Los Angeles, and I met Jordan. And Jordan plays Sweet Pea in Riverdale, and I was just there. I wanted to see his film. I wanted to be supportive. I walk up to him and I introduce myself, and he's like, "Hey, Carlos, thank you. I'm so happy you made it." And I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
you know who I am. That's pretty cool." And I
That's
didn't really
awesome.
introduce myself too much. He already knew who I was. He was probably expecting me. That was great. And he was very welcoming. He pulled me to the side, introduced me to his friends, he introduced me to his wife. We talked a little bit. He told me to stick around once the movie was over because he wanted to talk to me a little bit more.
Oh.
And
Wow.
we connected in a way that was a little bit, familiar. It was very welcoming, and he added depth to his character. And again, these people are not their characters. They're human beings just like you and me.
Mhm.
But you have a different perspective and you have a different way of feeling
Mhm.
when you watch the show now because you're like, I remember this, and you have this
Mhm.
memories attached that that you relive and experience again once you're watching the show for the
Totally.
100th time,
I get that.
Mhm.
and it makes it so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
That's how I feel with the people that I've met, specifically Lachlan Monroe. Like when I'm watching him on TV as the Black Hood or just as Hal, it's like I have met this guy and he's like the nicest guy ever. Like he's so sweet. I'm actually seeing him in a
New
couple
Jersey's coming up,
weeks.
right? The con, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna see him.
He's
I
also
don't
in one
know.
of my other favorite shows, Peacemaker.
Yeah, I don't know if this will come out before or after that happens, but I'm so excited to see him again. He's just the sweetest guy, and like, I totally understand where you're coming from. When you're watching the show and you've actually like met the people that you're watching on TV, it like totally gives a new perspective to the show or to the character. Like, you're like, oh my god, like I've met you, like I've
Correct.
hugged you,
Mhm.
I've like, what the hell, right?
Right? And it's a great feeling because it adds more layers to the narrative and the show,
Yeah.
and it makes you appreciate it in a level that you didn't previously. For example, I'll give you another one. When I met Graham Phillips and he plays Nick St. Clair in Riverdale, I love Ben 10. I grew up watching Ben 10. I was in high school when Ben 10 was out. So when I watched the live action movie, Ben 10, Race Against Time or something like that, I can't remember the exact name. He was Ben 10. He played that character. And like I said, I love Ben 10. When he played Harry Osborn in Spider-Man on PS5, one of my favorite games. Thanks to its beautiful story. I think of that. I think of the time I met him. Then I see him as, Nick St. Clair in Riverdale, and I'm like, it changed in my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What he did in the show is still wrong, absolutely. That doesn't change, but it just shows you a different dynamic, and
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful to see how these actors portray
Yeah.
these characters and their actions.
Since you
Totally.
have said that and you said, well, the actors aren't their characters, who do you think was the most like their character?
Oh, that's a good one too. I think I will admit to you, I think the core four are their characters.
Hmm.
Um, it's after you've met KJ and Cole a few times,
Yeah.
you start seeing a lot of their characters that they play
Hmm.
be a part of just their regular characters. We always know that Jughead's been, smart ass.
Hmm.
And that's Cole. Cole loves to joke around and make very you know, that type of jokes he makes and how he is, and I
Yeah.
think that's
I
very
love him.
Jughead.
Hmm.
Archie is just silly and fun, and then you see Mr. Fantastic taking over the internet right now. Like,
Mr.
you know,
Fantasy.
Mr. Oh
Mr.
yes, Mr.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Oh my God, oh Mr.
Mr.
Fantastic over here.
Fantastic.
I'm over here getting
Fantastic
lost.
Four.
And then, when you see that, you're like, "Hey, these people are playing. They are an extension. Their characters are an extension of who they are, and I think that is one thing that I have to give Riverdale. It was
Hmm.
perfectly casted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I cannot imagine anybody else playing these characters.
Hmm.
You have
Yeah.
Molly Ringwald,
Yes.
as Archie's mom. Luke Perry playing Archie's dad.
Hmm.
Lachlan, perfect. Mark Consuelos.
Hmm.
No
Yeah.
one can play the Man in Black better than he can. You know,
Absolutely.
and when you think about those things, you're like, wow, they nailed the casting. I give you
Hmm.
that.
They did.
The story
Absolutely.
the story
We talk
tropes
about
may
that all
be
the
a little
time.
questionable, but
Yeah.
the casting is perfect.
And especially on such a long running show, it's kind of hard to not add glimpses of yourself into your character. And it's also kind of hard not to find your character in yourself.
Correct. And that's something that a lot of people sometimes forget, especially with the online interactions. They're playing a character. They're
Hmm.
not their character.
Yeah.
They're just,
Hmm.
and I think that a lot of people forget that. And what happens on TV happens on TV. I do have a question for Haley though.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Haley, I know you mentioned that you are a big Stranger Things fan.
Yeah.
Justice for Ethel. You know that was a clear. You
Justice
know
for
that
Ethel.
Justice for Ethel. I know that was a clear, reference to Justice for Barb.
Hmm.
What do you think of the comparisons between the two characters, or Shannon Purser portraying
Oh,
Barb
that's so
and Ethel?
interesting. I think that Shannon Purser, especially during that time, after she was Barb, she was like the hot ticket to play like a loser girl on things. She's the only one that was in both of the shows. And a lot of people compare Riverdale and Stranger Things. And even though Stranger Things is of a higher production value, they were both very, very big shows at the same time. And Stranger Things, like of a higher production value, whatever. But like even just looking at the logos next to each other, like they look like they belong next to each other. Like the blue of the Riverdale, the neon blue, and then the neon red of the Stranger Things logo. I don't know. And just like the atmospheres of the two shows, I've liked them both since like I've liked Stranger Things since the beginning. Riverdale obviously has such a deeper seated place in my heart. I think it's so interesting. I was actually telling Abby about this one time, and I don't know if she was listening, but about how Shannon Purser was like the hot ticket, and how I think it's so interesting
I
that
was listening.
played. But I think it's so interesting how she played both. Like they wanted her so bad. They were like, and Barb and Ethel, they're so different, but also they're similar at the same time. But like her costuming even was so much different. She looks so much younger as Ethel than she does as Barb.
As Barb, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that you know, we can't compare the two. They're a little bit different
Yeah.
in terms of story.
Yeah.
but I am very satisfied with her send off in Riverdale. I think that she
Hmm.
got a great episode as Miss Riverdale. I think
Hmm.
that they truly gave her the moment to shine,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was just very happy with it. And
Yeah.
she went on happy with
Yeah.
Ben Button.
Yeah. And she deserves it for being in that show for that long. And if
Yeah.
you've ever read the tie-in novels, in every
Hmm.
single one, almost every single one, she is the scapegoat for the mystery, or she is like the antagonist in almost every single one of the tie-in novels, Ethel. And I'm like, really? Because she's just a girl, and they're always like, oh, she's trying to sabotage the core four. She's like, whatever. She's jealous of them. And like, she says it. She says it explicitly in the show sometimes. She was always kind of just there for like a little bit more conflict. And if they needed somebody as a scapegoat for anything, they could kind of use her. But in the tie-in novels, when I read them, and Ethel was the antagonist in every single one, I was like, "Are you actually for real right now? It's just Ethel. Come on,
Poor
guys."
I know, right?
Ethel.
You read Poison Pen then, right?
Yes. Like,
Okay,
why
great.
is that her? It doesn't make any sense.
No, couldn't tell you, but
Uh,
it was extra story, so I'll take it.
yeah, I will
She
take
got
it.
her yeah, she got her redemption,
Yeah,
and she got the win that she
yeah,
got.
Yeah. And she's also Betty's half sister
yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah,
For
and
some reason.
yeah,
For
in that
some
timeline.
reason in that timeline. Yeah, and I think it actually specifies that on the Riverdale wiki that it's only in the 50s. They're
Yeah,
only related in the 50s, which is
I would
so,
sure hope so.
yeah, it's so
But
weird.
how?
Like that's one of the biggest like what the fuck moments for me in season 7. It's like why are they related? Like
Only in the 50s too.
only in the 50s.
Ethel,
I
we were
guess there
actually
was
talking about doing like a whole episode on Ethel, Ben, Dilton, the other people around them, like of that same kind of character weight, like just
yeah,
kind of used whenever they need something. But also characters like my favorite Mad Dog and like Eric, like characters that were there to further the plot of the major characters, like Mad Dog and
correct.
Eric were there for Archie. Um, we were gonna do a whole, we were talking about that. Well, I
Just
was
like
talking about that.
they used Moose, in season
Yeah,
4 just to push
yeah,
forward the storyline with the Stonewall
yeah,
prep.
yeah.
He came back in season 6 though. That was nice to have back.
Hmm.
Speaking of storylines, what do you think is the craziest one? Because this is a big topic of debate because some people say Archie being in juvie. Some people think it's G&G. Some people think it's the videotapes. Some people think it's the superpowers. What do you think is the craziest storyline in all
Yeah.
of Riverdale?
Out of all the storylines, I still can't wrap around my head. How how do you section off a community? There is no police presence anywhere. Your dad is your husband, and then you're building a rocket to blast off and ascend. Like, I'm sorry, but
That's a good
that
answer.
that I can't like I
To
can't wrap
blast off and ascend.
yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. It is so bizarre that I absolutely love it. Then you have Betty ready to go to war. She has a gun. Principal Weatherby's missing a finger. You have a tons of missing organs now. That
Jesus.
it's that to me was
Hmm.
insane. Everything else, I don't think it was too far fetched. I'm pretty sure out there
I think
somewhere.
that's probably, yeah, not enough people talk about that moment as
Yeah,
like
no.
the craziest because I mean, what was going on? I mean, the rocket. Now I'm thinking about that. God.
But I will say during the Heather's episode that I thought that was a great introduction with Edgar Ever Never. How
Yeah.
everybody is in its type of like rhythm are clapping, and then you have Evelyn. Oh, my dad's so happy. Oh my God, and he's just like, whoa. And then you see
Hmm.
Chad Michael Murray, and you're like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Especially, for those that grew up watching One Tree Hill and then Freaky Friday or Cinderella, story. My sister watched that movie so many times. So seeing a familiar face to me was like, oh man, we got
Yeah.
another heavy hitter joining,
Yeah, an
another villain.
iconic teen actor joining Riverdale along
Oh
with all
yeah.
the others. But yeah, when I met Chad Michael Murray, it was at Christmas Con. I think it might have been 2022 or 2023. I don't remember. But he first of all, I don't think I've ever waited that long to meet anybody. His line was moving so slow. He kept taking breaks. He was like leaving every 25 minutes. It was ridiculous. But when I finally got to meet him, I'll never forget. He asks me, he puts his arms out and he goes, "Join the farm." And I was like, "Oh
Oh,
my
he knew.
god."
He knew. And that's funny that you mentioned that because I don't know if you've seen the video of when I met him and when
Yeah.
he saw my poster, he's like, "Holy crap on a cracker." And that's like the best. That's like
That's funny.
how do you go from there? Like how I almost started laughing. And
Holy
I thought that
crap
was
on
a
a cracker.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even had to Google the expression. I'll tell you that. I've never heard of that one before. But I thought that his interaction and his just showing of emotion when he saw that was fantastic. He said that he said to me that he had a blast on the show. Like that was a phenomenal experience for him. I'm just happy he didn't jump over the window, but that's a different that, that's a different topic.
Yeah. When I met him, he told me that he got to keep the suit.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
You
thought that
probably should
was
let
really
Archie
cool.
borrow it now, or KJ, I should say.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
Mr. Fantasy would
Mr. Fan,
really
what was it? Mr. Fantastic? I'm just
Mr.
kidding.
Fantasy. Hey.
Mr. Fantasy. Yeah, Mr. Fantasy would really, really pull off that
Oh
suit.
yeah, he
But
would.
one last question for you.
I've
Make it
got the
good.
last.
So that's
You
two.
got the
You say
last.
yours, then I'll say mine.
Okay, I wanted to ask you because Haley and I both have big collections and we have a lot of stuff from the show, and I know you have a couple things as well.
Yeah, I have a couple of things.
Yeah, so first off, you want to tell the listeners what you got?
So I know one of them. I got the bow tie that Reggie wears in one of the episodes where they open, I believe, they started doing the casino. I do have a tie that I have the episode memorized. I can definitely send you a picture of it later. I also have a blue shirt that he wore, I believe, during one of the calls that they were looking for investors for Pearls and Posh or Posh and Pearls. It's one of those two. And then I believe that may be it. I may have some. Oh, I do have a script, a page from the final battle with Percival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Props to me are really cool. I love seeing that they're in good hands with you and Haley. That makes me happy. Oh, I do have the a graduation cap as well.
You
Um,
have a Pops menu.
that is true, thanks to you, and it's signed now by KJ. So that is definitely a prized possession right there. I have it on my wall right now. Um, that is one of those things that I truly appreciate. Thank you. But definitely, I never really got into the. Actually, I'll be honest, you introduced me to props. I didn't know much about the props before I met you. I didn't even know how to go about that.
It's so fun, but
Yeah,
extremely expensive.
Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
my
yeah.
focus has always been on meeting them and collecting the
Mhm.
autographs.
Yeah. But if
That's
you could have anything from the show, anything at all, what would it be?
oh, if I could have
Unlimited
pop
money.
sign, if I could have pop sign in my room with the neon lights, definitely give me that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me pop
Mm,
sign. I'll put it outside my
that's
house right now.
good.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a great
I
answer.
would love
That
that.
is a good
Or the door,
answer.
or yeah, or the little bell when you enter. Every time I enter the house and I hear that
Yeah.
little,
The
Oh,
little bell.
yeah,
That
I
is
would
a
be
good
like,
answer.
yeah, that would be perfect.
That is a good answer because mine is much less iconic. It's like very just near and dear to me. Archie's striped blue shirt from
Mhm.
4-1 and season 4. He wears it a couple times season 4. That's mine.
That is awesome though.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know
What's yours?
mine.
What's yours, Abby? I know you have the shoes. I know you have the football helmet.
Uh, I mean, I would love Archie's jersey for sure. That will be a
Mm-hmm.
really good one.
You had the
Uh,
photos. You had the photos from Chad.
I do. That was on my
That's
list, and I'm so lucky that I got that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love one of Archie's El Royale sweaters.
Yes, me too.
But my craziest one, I would love to have Jughead's beanie.
Yeah,
That'll never happen, or at least because I know they definitely have multiple.
yeah.
One of Jughead's beanies, or honestly,
they have to have multiple.
FP's
They burned
sheriff.
one.
Yeah, FP's
Yeah.
sheriff uniform. I have so many. A black hood worn by Lachlan Monroe.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
that is a
Yeah.
good one.
Green eyes or no green eyes?
I'm looking at a picture of him right now. I don't know, man. They changed it. It's like
He does not
wasn't
have green. It was not supposed to
No.
be him.
no. Lachlan Monroe. I like the scene when they change his eyes.
I
He's
know.
like looking at Betty,
That
and they
was
make
funny.
his eyes. They make his
I
eyes
know.
green.
I know.
Did you act like okay? So we know that they were never meant to be green because that was not the direction we were heading. But did you think the story decided to use? Oh, Archie just doesn't remember 100% correctly, so we're gonna go ahead with that.
I don't know. I mean, I think they wanted it to be Sheriff Keller.
Yeah.
That's why they did that. But that is such a weird thing that like it's Archie's neighbor for his whole life and he just doesn't know. I mean, I get it. That's the point of the mask.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to know. But would he really not realize? Would he really not
Yeah.
realize? I think he would. I think
Yeah.
I would
I
recognize
don't know.
The
someone
eyes.
from my childhood
Yeah.
in
it's-
a mask, like the same body type. But it's not
Same
him,
build, yeah.
obviously.
It's obviously
Like,
it wasn't supposed
It's
to
supposed
be
to
him.
be
So like the
it's
writing
supposed to be
doesn't
him.
it doesn't make sense because like it wasn't supposed to be him from the beginning. So like the way that they went
Yeah.
about it doesn't make sense. But I feel like Archie was just really like I always make an excuse for the bad writing on the
Correct.
show. I'll always find an excuse or some way to work around it. Archie was
shock
just like
and the
really
panic.
clouded by it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You could look at it that way.
Yeah.
That's probably the only way you can look at it.
Yeah.
You know, like
And
yeah,
it's
he just doesn't realize. He just doesn't realize that it's how. You
It
know,
just doesn't
like
realize
he's like
'cause-
really
Yeah.
just all
He's
over the
too-
place.
He's too flustered. He's confused.
Yeah.
You know, he just needed to go home and take a shower with Veronica, and he'll be
Yeah,
fine.
he did.
I mean, I guess so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
That's-
Team
that-
Archie,
that-
so
Yeah, that's all he needed.
Yeah.
And then
that
yell
was
at
low-key
Veronica for-
crazy though. That was crazy to me. That
what the
right,
shower?
yeah, right after that. I love how they do that. Like they're like
That's why people don't take them seriously, bro.
I
That's why
know.
people don't fucking take them seriously because of shit like that. I
I
mean,
know.
it's a great scene. I don't know, man. It's just a
I
great
know, man.
scene. But yeah, I think timing's a. But you know, that's kind of what Archie does, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
she
he's
was.
having a bit of a day,
Little
Of a
bit,
day.
yeah.
like
She was
with
the
Betty
only one.
in season 5.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
In the bunker?
Day.
Man, so many secrets hidden in that bunker.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I should have. Maybe that's what I want from set. A
Oh,
bunker.
okay. Yeah. The entire thing. I low-key want that.
Like the whole bunker, and we all can play GNG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want G&G.
Yeah, I do. I do want that. I want that game to be real. Just D&D, but
It's just D&D. You know,
Yeah.
fun fact. You know, Sean Debner loves D&D. He's great at D&D.
I love that.
They're all.
They should have had Brett do it.
They should
Oh.
have.
It wouldn't have made any sense, but
What
They're all
is his
nerds.
plot twist?
that was his plot twist.
He's a
He-
D&D. He's actually a D&D nerd.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was behind everything, and
Oh,
Penelope
yeah, because it's a
Blossom
big.
lied.
He was behind everything. Griffins and Gargoyles. Because
Yeah, he was behind.
Wait, I have the mind of a mastermind.
Brett
Hash-
just did everything. It's all his plan.
It was all his plan. It was all recorded in Ponytail Playmate. We just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gotta release that.
The
They
secret
gotta
tapes.
release that.
Who cares? You know what?
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say something. I don't know if I should.
They don't gotta release that. They
don't-
don't
they-
gotta release that.
They don't need to release those files that America is infatuated with right now. Just release Ponytail Playmate.
Yeah, let's go see if Ethel has a copy.
Um, when-
Barb?
Barb.
uh,
Okay, Carlos, I have one last question for you, and I think that it can encapsulate and wrap up this episode quite well. So, my question is, what are your words of wisdom to other fans who dream of meeting the cast?
I think for any of those later on that would like to, go on a journey themselves and meet the rest of the cast, be genuine. I think coming from a good place, being genuine will get you far. Treat them,
Agreed.
yeah, treat
Agreed.
them like people. You got to remember that these are parasocial relationships that we have with them. They don't know who we are, and I think by being respectful and supportive, that it could be create a mutual relationship of respect. And you never want to cross the line. You never want to cross the line because it will affect other people as well.
Mhm.
And I know there's been stories out there. I know Mads had a bad experience once with a fan, and those things can definitely affect long term. And we don't want to create a hostile environment for the people that definitely worked 7 years for us. And appreciate the times for what they are. And if you go in with a clear mind and be open to the fact that the interaction you may have may not be the one that you have completely envisioned in your mind, and remember that the characters are just a character and they're not the people that you're seeing are not who they are, then I think you will definitely have a memory to last you a lifetime.
That's good
Definitely agree.
advice.
Especially in this day and age with all that stuff
Yeah,
going on. It
with
happens
social
all the
media.
time. Happens all the
Yeah.
time. I see it
Hmm.
all the time in fandoms even other than Riverdale. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we should learn from other fandoms. Star Wars
Hmm.
is one of them.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep repeating those mistakes that other fandoms have. Zoe is a great person. She plays Evelyn. She
Hmm.
is not Evelyn ever never. And I think that a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
We see one episode. Oh, it ends. We flock to Instagram, and why you do this? Well, it's
Hmm.
you know, it's
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 not
an
real.
actor. It's an
Yeah,
actress. It's
exactly.
not real. And I know some of us have a little bit of a harder time differentiating between that and, the
Mhm.
next, but just be mindful. Be mindful of how you're how perception is key.
Totally. I totally agree with that. I think being genuine will get you further than anything else. I mean, in my experiences, they appreciate more if you go up to them and you're like, "I really appreciate what you do. I love you in the show." For like KJ, I was like, "I love your music." Like if you go to
I said I
them,
love Shortland Street.
yeah, like if you
Hmm.
go to them with this genuine appreciation of what they do, what they have done, what they're doing in the future, that will
Correct.
get you further than anything else will. Because
Correct.
they meet so many people, so many fans, and to be remembered by someone that you look up to, someone that you are a fan of, is such a blessing. Which is why I think it's so cool, Carlos, that they they know you. They remember you because you are a genuine fan. You're not like, "Oh my god, you're so cool and I love it. And you're so hot."
Hmm.
Like that's what they're used to, unfortunately. And you come to them and it's so refreshing to see, honestly. Like these people, they get to meet you, you get to meet them, and you're just like real. Like you're a genuine fan. You're not just like, "Oh yeah, like it's cool, I guess," or "Oh my god, you're so hot." Like that's what the type of shit that they get, right? And you
Correct.
go to them and you're like genuine. And I think it's one of the reasons that we really connected in the way that we did because I think that you and we have a lot in common in the way that we approach meeting the cast.
Correct. And that's good. That's good to have that mentality because it's like you said, they remember that,
Yeah,
and
goes
it's
a long
hard.
way.
Yeah, it goes a long way, and it's hard to come back from. So always have a positive impact and be supportive. If there is a film festival and they're in town, go see the film. Go it show support, and I think we often forget that Riverdale is just one piece of media. There's a lot more,
Hmm.
and I think support goes a long way. And I think that's the most important piece of advice. Just be genuine.
That's amazing. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on with us today. You're one of our first featured guests here, which is amazing because I know I've talked about doing this with you for a long time.
I know I've been looking
Having
forward
a
to this day.
So it's so incredible to have you on here to talk to us about this show that has brought us all of us together. It's incredible, and
It
I
has, it was
feel so blessed.
it was great, meeting you. I will say the fandom did bring us together. My family knows Abby,
Oh,
I'm
really?
yeah, it's nice to know.
Thank
Sometimes I
you.
talk to my employees and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to this convention. I have a friend of mine that lives in, New York, blah blah blah. It's nice to meet Haley now, first time. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad, we can put a face to Haley. That's pretty cool. And I enjoy the fandom with other true
Yeah.
fans because I am 100% sure, just like in every other show, there will be a Riverdale renaissance at some point
Yep.
in the next few
Mhm.
years. And you know what? We were there,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we were there.
Exactly.
The OGs.
We were there. Absolutely.
OGs. Well, thank you so 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 much for coming on with us and for telling
Hey,
us
thank you
all
for
your
having me.
stories.
And
And
there's more to come.
just yeah, of
There's more to
course.
come. The poster journey is not over just yet.
Yeah, so just remind us one more time. Who do you still need?
I definitely need Cheryl Blossom, Tony Topaz, and Banks Fogarty. Those are like I could be 100% satisfied and complete with them. That would be like epic. But then I also know I need some other characters to balance it out and be
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, like I could be okay with them three, but I know that deep down I will want a few more.
Yeah, now who's next?
Who's next? Donna Sweet, one of my favorite villains in season 4.
Mm.
So excited for you.
And I manifested that. You know that. I manifested that.
Yes, you've been talking about that.
Yeah, I
You've been
manifested
talking
that. I
about that.
I made that happen. So I am looking forward to that.
You deserve it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
100%. Thank you truly so much for coming on. We'll have to have you on again because I'm sure in a couple months you'll have some more stories to tell us that people will really want to hear because and I'm sure there's so many that you haven't said. I
Hmm.
mean, you've
Oh
met
yeah,
everybody.
I'm pretty sure if I keep digging deeper into my brain, there's a lot more in there.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
thank all of you guys if you made it this far. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week.
See you
Next
next
Riverdale
week.
Wednesday.